Right, so the big piece of news that I guess everyone was really looking to see, or I guess DC fans and some Marvel fans, superhero movie fans in general, were waiting to kind of see, was James Gunn's kind of roadmap for the new slate of DC movies coming out after this year, because we know the four ones that are coming out this year. We know Shazam next month. Zachary Levi decided it would be a good idea to, a month before his movie's coming out, to basically go on a weird, like, anti-vaxxer rant. Of all the things the DC stars have done wrong, of all the things people in DC movies have done wrong over the last few years, calling out the Pfizer vaccine after most of the people on the planet have taken it. I don't think it's as, obviously it's not good, because it's a thing that, you know, helped end a global pandemic, but I don't think it's as bad as stalking, kidnapping, evading the police, and actively taunting the police on Instagram, and I don't think it's as bad as beating up Johnny Depp and shitting in his bed. I don't think it's as bad as that. But I mean, yeah, you probably shouldn't have said that, a month before his movie comes out. But that's not what we're here to talk. Not what we're here to talk about. There's a Flash movie coming out, which that's the one that I'm like, who the fuck is even excited for that anymore? As good as that movie is being touted as being, and that's the one that James Gunn in this video came out and said that he thought was really good. I don't care if it's really good. It shouldn't exist. Or refilm it with all of the Ezra Miller scenes having Grant Gustin in them, or a different person playing the Flash, because I don't feel good supporting a project with Ezra Miller in it. Obviously, he's already been paid, and going to see the movie doesn't affect his paycheck in the slightest. It's going towards the cinema or the movie theatre that you're actually going to. I mean, the movie makes a lot of money. The movie makes a lot of money. Ezra Miller's not going to be in a Flash movie after it, so it doesn't matter. Fingers crossed, Ezra Miller's not in a Flash movie after it. Hopefully, he goes away for a while, and hopefully they go away. I'm sorry if I misgendered Ezra Miller. A genuine mistake. They hopefully go away and get help, or serve their time for the copious amount of crimes that they have committed. We then have a Blue Beetle movie, which I'm really looking forward to, and an Aquaman sequel, which takes place after the reboot in Flash. So I don't know if that's just going to be, that's going to be like Aquaman 1 again, or is it going to be like a true sequel to Aquaman 1? And what the fuck is that movie going to be about? Because you used every good Aquaman villain in the first one, what do you do for the second one? And King Shark is already in the Suicide Squad, so what do you do there? But anyways, we're talking about the new DC movies that were announced, or DCU. It's no longer DCEU. It actually has a proper name now, which is good. It's a step in the right direction. Also, another good thing that DC or Warner Brothers have been doing, especially James Gunn, that he's been doing, that Kevin Feige over at Marvel and the MCU really needs to take a page out of DC's or Warner Brothers book for this. Actually promoting the comics, like actively promoting comics on their social media, on you know, the frick's sake, like at the end of trailers, and it'll probably be like a big thing when you go to see like Shazam 2 or when you go to see a DC movie going forward, that they will actively have like, if you enjoyed this, go read the comics that this movie was based on, and actively talking about what comic book storylines he's going to be using to make these movies, and what he's taking inspiration from. So that is a big thing for me that I love. I love that he's actively, that like, it seems like the studio as a whole is doing more things to really promote the comics, and to at least get new people and new readers involved and reading comics. And that's a really big thing. That's more important. The more people reading comics, the better. Just Marvel needs to take a page out of that book, because Marvel's writing some really good stuff at the moment, and they're not promoting it in the big leagues. And the big leagues is getting that trailer at the start of a movie, getting that, hey, you really liked Spider-Man No Way Home, it's based off of this story arc that's really good that you should go and read. If you don't like reading comics, go download an audio version of the comics, or, you know, if you don't have a comic book shop near you, download Comixology. You know, they should actively invest in that kind of promotion, because promoting comics inside comics and inside these little like nerd comic book shops isn't working, and people still don't hold comics as high as they hold movies or even novels in that way. And I think this new thing that DC is doing, by actively putting stuff at the end of trailers and actively saying like, hey, you like this movie, go read these comics, that's so positive. And that will be the first of a lot of gushing in this video. So the first movie that we have, obviously, I'm so glad that James Gunn is doing this as the first one. He did also note that everything in the main timeline, so movies, games, animated series, and live action shows, they're all going to try and have the same cast. So if someone's playing Superman, the person playing Superman in Superman Legacy is going to be voicing Superman when he shows up in a TV show, or when he shows up in a video game, or something like that. And if if it's not directly tied into the DCU, like Matt Reeves' Batman, Todd Phillips' Joker. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this every time I say about Todd Phillips' Joker. It's a terrible movie. I don't understand the hype it gets. It shouldn't have a sequel. The sequel should not be a musical. And every time I hear about, Todd Phillips' Joker sequel is going to be a musical with Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn, I want to throw up a little bit. It sounds like the most stupid idea. And also, it's a sequel to a movie that, yes, won a lot of accolades. Yes, had a lot of hype behind it, and yeah, won an Oscar and got and the Joker as a character has run 2 actors an Oscar, but I just don't think it's that good. I just thought it was boring, and I'm not. The Joker 2 is the one movie. The one comic book movie that I think I have no interest of paying money to go see that. I have more interest in paying money to go watch The Flash than going to watch The Joker 2. I think. First one's Superman Legacy, written by James Gunn, release date July 11th, 2025. This is the whole plan is starting in like 2 years' time. So like it allows a year for people to breathe. So we get all of the DC movies this year. Aquaman 2 happens, and I think next year we've got a shit ton of Marvel movies coming out, but it allows DC fans to breathe and get ready for this new like hype train of like James Gunn headed content. And obviously there's going to be some TV shows put in throughout, and HBO Max series, and I'll get onto the TV shows in a minute because there's some there that interest me as well. But I'm glad that we're getting a year of nothing, or a year of very little, because you're doing all of this amazing stuff to promote the comics. Give non-comic book readers that are just getting into the comics a year to kind of read about these characters, get hyped about these storylines, and catch up on storylines and read the stories that the next slate of DC movies are going to be based on. And then when they go into the next slate of movies, they're going to be more hyped because they know the stories that are going to be told, and they're going to be excited to see those on live action. It's the same premise as like Harry Potter, Twilight, any like teen novel. So yeah, there's a Superman movie coming out. I was saying this on. I've got a Cobra Kai part coming out soon. Lex Luthor, the perfect person to play Lex Luthor in a movie is Jeffrey Bezos. Jeff Bezos, best person to play Lex Luthor. He's a real life Lex Luthor. He's a billionaire that owns a big company. It's just the only difference is that his company's called Amazon, not Jeff Corp. Or yeah, Jeff Corp. Yeah, because it's called Lex Corp, Jeff Corp. Jeff Corp. We then have The Authority, which came out of absolute left field. Wildstorm. The Wildstorm characters are like Wildstorm is like a comic publisher outside of it's like an imprint outside of, it's like Max. What is it like? What's a Marvel? Vertigo. It's not a Marvel thing, but it's another DC thing. But Vertigo is where the Sandman, Lucifer, Animal Man, Swamp Thing went before they got folded into the main DC universe. And that's what the Authority is. That's what Wildstorm is as well. But only a couple of characters from Wildstorm actually got drafted in, and they're only recently starting to get drafted in. This is a very 90s thing. It's a 1999 comic book series published under DC's Wildstorm imprint. Yeah. I have no idea what that's about, actually. And I'm very excited for it, because usually the things that are based on stuff that I have no idea about, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I had no idea, and it's James Gunn again. So this could be a Guardians of the Galaxy thing, taking characters no one knew who the fuck they were and making them household names. Or it could be an Eternals thing, taking characters no one knew who the fuck they were and people wishing they hadn't seen that movie. I love Eternals, I love that movie, but a lot of people didn't. The next one is The Brave and the Bold, which isn't... What I understand is this is going to be a big... this is going to be not necessarily based on what The Brave and the Bold is, because people probably know The Brave and the Bold from the Batman The Brave and the Bold animated series, where every episode would be a team-up between Batman and another character from the DC universe. And it was an amazing show, because it was getting kids to learn about all of these amazing characters in DC universe, and it's one of my favorite DC TV shows for that and Justice League Unlimited, because there's so much rich, deep lore and history in that show. And Brave and the Bold introduced me to Blue Beetle and introduced me to like Hawkman and that. So actually Justice League Unlimited introduced me to Hawkman. Yeah, really, I'm sad that this isn't that, but what it's going to be is it's going to be based off of Grant Morrison's Batman and Son storyline, where Batman finds out that where Bruce Wayne finds out he's got a son called Damian, who's the son of him and Talia al Ghul, and he's been trained by the League of Assassins, and it's basically trying to establish Damian as a member of the Bat family, and that's what this movie is going to be all about. It's going to be all about setting up the Bat family. So it's going to be a Batman movie that's more of a team movie. It's going to feel more like Shazam, maybe not tonally. It's obviously going to be a lot darker than Shazam, but it's going to feel more like a Bat family movie than what Matt Reeves' Batman is. Matt Reeves' Batman might do Bat family as well, but I don't know. And this is exactly what I've wanted from a Batman movie in so many years. I've been wanting them to do a proper re-roll on I wanted them to do a proper go again at Robin, not in like a TV show, in like an actual movie. I just don't know who they would get to play Robin. Probably the guy from Umbrella Academy. 5. Yeah, that's probably my pick. 5 from Umbrella Academy. We then have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, based on a comic that only just ended like 2 years ago, like last year. But yeah, a Supergirl movie has me really excited because it's actively based on a like award-winning comic from recent years, and you know, we don't get to see much of Supergirl outside of, you know, terrible CW TV shows. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And Swamp Thing is getting a movie. We all remember that Swamp Thing got a kind of TV show. It was weirdly, it was alright. Weirdly, it was good. But it spent too much money. It spent too much money on the first episode and had to get cancelled before the second episode even got made. So, because it spent all of its budget. So yeah, I'm glad that Swamp Thing's going to get another go because it's an interesting character. A lot of people like him. I really like him. I think he got a lot of new fans from being in Injustice 2. So yeah, I'm very excited. And then there's this new slate of TV shows. The one thing that I am kind of confused about is that there was a mention of cast being the same from movies to TV to gaming, and there's no mention of any game here. There is no game mentioned at all. And I don't know if there's like nothing in development, but what is this Wonder Woman game gonna be? Because we've seen nothing apart from like a silhouette of a character model. But for DC TV shows, we've got Creature Commandos. I couldn't tell you anything about this. Apparently it's going to be like, it's going to be Amanda Waller putting together a team of monstrous prisoners. So it's going to be like a more horror version of it's going to be a more horror themed version of the Suicide Squad. And then Amanda Waller's getting her own TV show. And out of all of the people that have been fired from DC or been taken away from DC projects, Viola Davis is still playing Amanda Waller, which, yes, she is perfect for the role. She's the best thing she's the best thing from the first Suicide Squad movie. She's amazing in the second. And yeah, I want to see her interact with the wider DC universe a bit more than she has done. Even seeing her pop up in Black Adam was kind of cool. And then we have Booster Gold. Finally, something is happening with Booster Gold. We're finally getting something Booster Gold. I'm glad that it's a TV series, not a movie, because making a like slapstick comedy show with Booster Gold just fits much better than putting him in a movie. And obviously, you're probably going to have him in a movie with Shola Maranduena's Blue Beetle at some point anyway. I wonder if Booster Gold's going to pop up in that movie. I don't know. But then we have lanterns. We've got a Green Lantern TV show, which will, from what I understand, it's going to work kind of like X-Files, or kind of like a detective show. It's going to be like a police procedural detective show in space, which that makes me interested. Definitely looking forward to this. And then Paradise Lost, which is going to be the like first Wonder Woman thing that we saw, that we're going to see, and apparently it's going to be basically Game of Thrones. It's going to be very Game of Thronesy, which I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but from the things that I've seen and from the things that I've watched that have been Game of Thronesy, I've enjoyed most of them. So I think this is something that will probably pique my interest a little bit, at least a little bit. Anyway, that's everything. To be fair, so a lot more than I thought that it was going to be. Anyway, and for like this is like the first few announcements of what's going to be deemed their first like story arc, which is like Gods and Monsters. My thing is, Gods and Monsters is already a Elseworlds story, which is like a darker look at the DC universe. This obviously isn't going to be that, and I like the direction that they're going. It kind of looks like it's going to be more of a soft reboot, not necessarily. It's going to be rebooting most of it, but all of the stuff that James Gunn has already worked on will stay, and the people that James Gunn likes have stayed and will stay, because from what I understand, the character that's played by his wife, Harcourt, I think is her name, she's going to take more of a Nick Fury, or more of a Maria Hill type role, because obviously the Nick Fury of the DC universe is Amanda Waller, and then you go like this. The Harcourt character is completely original, from what I understand. I haven't read that much DC compared to Marvel, but I'd never heard of like an Agent Harcourt before, and obviously if he wants to put his wife in more movies, then more power to him. He owns the company now. He owns the rights to the movies. It kind of is his prerogative to make sure his wife always has work. So yeah, if he wants to say, hey, look, my wife's a great actress, I want to see her in more movies, heck, I have the power to put her in more movies, here you go, here's more movies featuring my wife, and here's more movies featuring my brother for that sake as well, because he's a great actor as well and deserves more money and more work, and should be a household name. And soon the Gunn family will take over all of cinema, and will be in every movie, and you'll never be able to get rid of us, and fuck you. I kind of love it though. I kind of love it. But yeah, more power to him for getting his wife and his brother in all of his projects, or in most of his projects. Because yeah, I know if I was a director and I had a family, or I had family members that were in acting, I would get them into the projects that I was directing. That's just called being a good husband, being a good brother, being a good, like, relative. That's just called, like, you know, that's just called being a nice human being. I don't know where the problem with that is. Like, how dare James Gunn get his wife in so many movies? Like, no. he should be doing that. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But anyways, I've already gone on for way too long. I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Yeah. Peace.